All right, now we're going to move to the closing statements for each of the folks. We'll actually start with Ward 5, Mr. Swanson. The way we'll handle the applause and such is the way we did at the beginning. After each ward has an opportunity.
What I think we've begun in this last council, and that is greater transparency, greater openness, a greater discussion of difficult issues, a greater willingness to listen to participants that come to the council meetings to share their concerns and ask their questions. We haven't always agreed on the council, even amongst ourselves or the town manager or the clerk treasurer, but we always give it a good, honest, transparent effort to air out a decision-making process and come to the best conclusion for the folks at Winona Lake. I have loved serving on the council with these people and look forward to another 4 years, the Lord willing, and would appreciate your vote come this next election day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Two candidates running in Ward 4, contesting each other, and we'll begin with Mrs. Sue Gooding.
Well, the one thing I'd like to leave you with is that I have a lot of experience. I have a lot of experience in work. I have a lot of experience in life. I have a lot of experience on the council. It's been an interesting job. It's so similar to my own, and yet a little bit different. I'm a property tax owner and a property tax payer, and that's important because it makes a difference when I make those decisions. I'm a parent. I have 2 children who use those parks and those trails, and I think I just view things differently as somebody who's been around a little bit, who pays the taxes, and who's raised children in this community. So with that, I would like to say I would appreciate it if you would show up on May the 3rd and vote, and we have a great crew here, and I don't think you can go wrong. Thank you.
The other candidate in Ward 4, Mr. Greg Wynn.
I think in May 3rd you guys have a decision. Obviously it's Sue or I. I think we were very different. As I've gone to council meetings, I've been frustrated because my personality is I'm very passionate about growth and doing more and doing more. And by doing that, I'm probably going to err on the side of possibly giving too much authority to the supervisors of Winona Lake. And if you're not comfortable with that, then Sue might be the better choice. I'm like I said, I'm passionate about growth and doing more and more, and even though I'm only 30 years old this Thursday, I want to make the most out of the next 60 years.
Thank you very much. Candidates for Ward 4. Candidates for the Republican nomination in Ward number 3, our first candidate, Mr. Bruce Schaffner.
Well, first, I'd like to thank all of you, and it's all rests in your hands. I encourage each and every one of you to go out on May 3rd and vote. Make your choice, because you are going to be the ones who speak for who actually gets in office up here. You've heard us all speak. I think we do have a big list of people for you to choose from, and I think that's exciting. It'd be rather boring if none of these were opposed and it'd just be the same person. So I guess from my perspective, I've enjoyed being on the council since I was put in as a caucus last summer, and I'm really looking forward to continuing to work through everything that the council has been working on and being a part of that. It's quite rewarding. And thank you, and please vote on May 3rd.
The other candidate in Ward 3, Mr. Jerry Nelson.
Yes, I'd like to just say again, I think you have a wonderful opportunity. This is probably the first time in all the years I've been coming to Winona Lake, and I, can't remember every election, that you've had an opportunity to vote for somebody in every single one of the council positions and the clerk treasurer. I think that kind of opportunity is something that you want to take full advantage of. And whether you like a candidate, dislike a candidate, and whether you think one candidate can serve better or not serve as well, I think falls into your hands. So if you sit at home on May 3rd and don't come out and place your vote and say whom you think can do the better job, who's the most involved, who's going to give you the best shot for your tax money, then you're the one that loses as a citizen of Winona Lake, not the candidate. Because one of us is going to take the position in Ward 3. That decision is yours, and I will hope that it's me. Thank you.
Ward 3 candidates. In Ward number 2, we have 2 candidates. First, Mr. Terry Howie.
I would like to thank each and every one of you for coming out this evening. I'm not a great and polished speaker. I don't like doing things like this. I'd rather get down and work with my hands and fix something. I've been given a great privilege of serving on this council and working with all the people in the town, both the citizens and all the departments. They have been great. I've enjoyed going out and speaking with people and hearing their concerns and following up with some of those concerns, being able to get some done, others we have not been able to get done. It is your privilege, it is your right to go out and vote on May 3rd. And I would encourage each and every one of you to do that, because if you don't make the choice, someone else will.
And Mr. John Bowl.
I would like to publicly thank Mr. Howie for his service to Winona Lake and for you for being here this evening. H.J. Hines, just after the beginning of the 1900s, donated a sculpture. If you see it on the island, it's a student holding a book. H.J. Hines invested a lot in Winona Lake, and at a critical time in our history, a board made a decision to stop growth. Mr. Hines pulled out of Winona Lake, left the one statue that you see in the island, and moved back to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Ronald Reagan said, trust the electorate. May 3rd, I trust that before God in your heart, as you step into the election ballot, you will make the decision that He lays on your heart. For those 5 of us that will have the privilege of serving the community of Winona Lake, a place that I call home. Thank you.
Ward 2 candidates. And 2 candidates in Ward 1. First we'll have Mr. Dan Daggett.
Terry, I've got a furnace I may need you to work on, so we'll talk about that later. In Ward 1 for Winona Lake, we are in a very lucky situation. Our current councilwoman, Joy Losey, has set the bar very high for Phil and I. And to fill the shoes and to represent the people the way she has would be a great honor. I tell my 15-year-old son, who's a freshman at Warsaw, to push that little bit more, whether it's in algebra or whether he's trying out for the tennis team. Give it that little extra effort. Put yourself ahead of everybody else. I apply that to what I do. Whether I'm very slowly running 4 miles at 6 in the morning or whether I'm at a council meeting, I'll do my very best. And please get out and vote next week.
Mr. Phil Hood.
I've enjoyed my time running. I believe it's a great experience for my children to learn more about that process, and I encourage you to vote on May 3rd. If you're looking for someone who is level-headed, common sense decision maker, who will not continue to put off issues and look for the long-term solution that will not hamstring us for the future or in the next few years, that vote is for Philip Hood. Thank you.
Ward 1. And let me remind you again that you do have the opportunity on May the 3rd to vote for all 5 positions. So though you may live in a particular ward, you'll have the opportunity to cast a ballot for all 5. Another housekeeping note here, after these 2 candidates give their closing remarks, then I will ask them to move out into the foyer where they'll be able to greet you. Or is it better over here? Let me over on the porch area there. They'll be out there on the porch area. So after they finish, Monica Boyer is going to come and has an announcement and will close the session. So if you could just remain seated until she's finished, I'd appreciate that. That'll give all of the candidates an opportunity to get out into the porch area. And then please go and ask individual questions. Our final candidates for this evening are for the clerk treasurer position of Winona Lake. And we have 2 candidates. The first candidate, Mrs. Retha Hicks.
I want to thank you for coming out this evening, and I appreciate your commitment and your interest. I'd also like to thank the Silent No More for a wonderful format that they've given us this evening. If you elect me as your clerk treasurer, I will continue to represent you in a fiscally sound town budget, capital budget, and investment program. Please vote May 3rd and vote for Rita Hicks. Thank you.
Our other candidate for clerk treasurer, Mr. Kent Adams.
Thank you. If I am elected as your clerk treasurer, I have several ideas that I would like to explore, and if permissible to you, I think I'll read them to you so there's no misunderstanding and so you're very clear. Number one, these are things that I want to take a look at if elected. The posting of monthly financial reports on the Winona Lake public website. Number two, a bi-weekly listing of claim vouchers prior to submitting for council approval, including out-of-town conferences. Electronically filing of all state reports to ensure accuracy of information to make it easier to access that information. Establish a system to ensure all contracts are renewed in a timely manner. For example, I understand that the 2008 Volunteer Fire Department contract was not renewed until April 12th of 2011. You can read the rest of these later. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ask the candidates to make their way that way. And Monica, you have just a few words for the citizens of Winona Lake.
I'd like to thank the candidates. And as a person coming from Warsaw, we would love to come play if you could do something about this weather. Again, I'd like to thank the candidates, and they need some water because there was a lot of movement. I thank you for that flexibility. We weren't sure how the setup was going to be, so I thank them for that flexibility of having to get up all the time. I'd like to thank the town of Winona Lake for letting us meet here. It was a wonderful place, and we're very grateful that they allowed us to meet here tonight. I'd like to thank Dr. Harstein. He did an excellent job. Would you help me thank him? And also for you, the voter. And I'd like to say also, per capita, I think you guys topped the Warsaw mayoral debate. So give yourselves a hand. They've got one other shot tomorrow night at the Wagon Wheel. Is that right, Chris?
Do I?
Warsaw Wagon Wheel tomorrow night?
Yes.
The Warsaw mayoral debate. So if you want to go to another one, tomorrow night's your night. And finally, take time to meet your candidates. There's cookies, there's coffee. Our hospitality crew is awesome. So make yourself at home and meet your candidates. And I think, is that all, Jim? That's all. Thank you for coming out.